You're listening to The John and Heidi Show. Now, featuring the wit and wisdom of Dan Ferris.
Okay, dudes, let's walk this sucker.
On Sunny 93.3.
It's the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Dan Ferris. Good Thunder Road Thursday to you, sir. How are you?
Pretty darn good, yeah. We'll be gifting somebody the $25 gift card from Thunder Road to burn up however they please, which is always pretty cool. It is, boy, this is a tough one. I don't know who comes up with them, but this is great. It's National Develop Alternative Vices Day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you got some nasty habits. Interchange them with a nastier one.
Quit smoking and start doing heroin.
Yeah, I mean, come on now already. It's like, I'm putting the vodka away. I mean, you got any meth? Oh, weird, man. Joe Pesci has a birthday today.
I've always liked Joe.
Joe, yeah, Goodfellas, Home Alone. My Cousin Vinny, love that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Who else? Tom Hiddleston. He was Loki in the Avengers stuff.
Okay.
Ringing a bell at all? He also dated Taylor Swift for about 5 minutes and ran away screaming.
Oh, yeah. Do you blame him?
It's a true story. He's 42 today.
Nice.
And believe it or not, you guys are a little young, but I remember this album. Steve Claypatch bought it. He just lived down the block from me. Carole King, one of the best-selling albums ever in the 70s, called Tapestry.
Oh, yeah.
Carol's 81 today.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Written all kinds of stuff over the years. Let's see. So Far Away. It's Too Late. Jazzman in 1971. I Feel the Earth Move.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, darling, when you're near me and you tenderly call my name, I know that my emotions are something I just can't tame. I just got to have you, baby. Yeah. I feel the earth move under my feet. There you go.
There you go.
Yay.
81, a little taste of history. Sports, John, sports. Gather around, big fella. 1895, William Morgan presents his new sport. Calls it Mintonette.
Mintonette.
Yup. Uncorks that bad boy at the Springfield College in Massachusetts. People really dig it. And in short order, Mintonette is renamed, are you ready?
Yeah.
Volleyball.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Yeah, 1895. In 1961, the Beatles play their very first gig at Liverpool's Cavern Club. They do a little better than 300 shows there over the next 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Strangely enough, this very day, 3 years later in 64, the Beatles' first appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's pretty cool.
And
Yeah.
and just 1 year ago today, this was heartbreaking to a lot of people. 2022, John and Heidi, 4 million plus bottles of beer are destroyed in a crackdown on alcohol in the Nigerian state of Kano, where booze is now prohibited under Sharia law.
Holy cow.
Over 4 million bottles.
Yikes.
You can look at it and go, holy cow, 4 million. But then when you think about it, that happens every October during SDSU Jack Rabbit Homecoming. So
yeah, pretty much.
Really kind of ain't no big deal. Hey, I know, you know, we all know. We just bounce ahead here.
Going to do exactly that. It is the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Dan Ferris.
Do you ever get credit card offers in the mail? Those are usually the worst offers. They spend thousands of dollars mailing them to anyone with an address. The people who actually read their junk mail end up paying the price in the long run. At bettercreditcards.com, we offer a variety of credit card options to fit your needs. Whether you want a credit card to give you cash back or points and perks, or a credit card to help you build your credit, we probably have it at bettercreditcards.com. Give yourself a little credit. bettercreditcards.com.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Super excited to visit with Chris Tonto Paronto. He's going to be in Sioux Falls coming real soon. Chris, how you doing, sir?
Good. Actually, I'm doing well. You're taking me from a break. I tore my quadricep tendon and quad muscle a little while back, so I was in the middle of therapy, so honestly, it was a nice break.
Nice.
Therapy's not fun. Not fun. Knee repairs are not fun.
Well, we've had you in Sioux Falls in the past. You do a phenomenal job. And I remember last time you were here, I think the book had come out not too far before that. And I think the movie had just come out, 13 hours of the book. And then the movie had come out. Now you're back and going to be speaking here. And I'm looking at the calendar, Friday, March 3rd. It's sneaking right up. And if people want to get tickets, I'll tell them how to do that here in a minute. But what are we going to be talking about at the event that's coming up in Sioux Falls?
It'll be a little different than the one back then. I'll tell you what, back then it was I was a little angrier, to tell you the truth. It was still relatively new what had happened. And I think I had some reason to be, but I've let a lot of that go. And with the help of God, of course, I have. So God will definitely be part of the speech. I think God needs to be talked about more in speeches in public. And so faith, speech, overcoming adversity, and continuing to honor Tyrone Woods, my two teammates, Tyrone Woods and Glenn Doherty, and of course, Ambassador Stevens and Sean Smith. But of course, Glenn and Ty, especially since they sacrificed everything so I could come home. And I think that still needs to be talked about, until the day I pass away, and then hopefully the next generation carries it forward.
Absolutely. Now, the talk this time is Crucible of Crisis, Values in Action, Resiliency in the Face of Adversity. And that is a pretty deep topic to talk about. And I see we got a little bit of time to chat about it that night. But how in the world do you boil it down and get all of this into a talk?
A lot of practice.
Yeah.
a lot of trial and error. But military, that's what we do. You try away, and if it doesn't work, you review. AR is what we call it. You AR yourself, or you review. You go over what you did wrong, right, and you fix it until it fine tunes it, and that's how you do it. And I think anything, just being a speaker, at least in my opinion, like anything else, is if you want to be a good one or good at anything, you have to practice.
Oh yeah,
and that is something in the generation. Maybe the generation right now doesn't understand as well as they probably should, but hard work definitely pays off, and it pays off anything. If you want to be good at anything, you have to work at it. So that's how it's been done. It's just a lot of repetition of me, and also just going through the speech in my head, and then also a little bit of trial and error, try things at different places and what works and what doesn't, as far as talk, when you lose people, when you don't, and then fine tune it until it becomes a very fluid speech. And that's something that, as a public speaker, you have to do that to make sure that, of course, you're resonating with the crowd in front of you, and at least they're getting something out of it. I definitely do. It's very therapeutic for me to talk about it. So I'm getting something out of it on a selfish level, but I want to make sure those there get something out of it, and that's really dealing with adversity and giving examples of what I've had to go through, not just Benghazi, but prior to that, of how I built up that ability to overcome adversity. And that's what you have to do, definitely, just to become a Ranger, just to go through Ranger school and everything else. So it is. It's just something that's trial and error. But then when it comes right down to it, the presentation has to be something that people can interact with, they can feel, and they can go, wait a second, I've been through that before. Maybe not combat, but something of adversity that I've gone through that. I know how I can overcome it now, and getting through an obstacle that may be hindering them at this moment in time, or something down the road. It's got to stay positive. And that's one thing with the speech has changed quite a bit, is that I don't get into negatives too much anymore. It's about being positive, overcoming adversity, and letting God take the wheel when you're having those problems that you can't get through.
I love that, and that is something that is important, because it's pretty easy to get kind of negative and down, and right now more than ever, boy, we just need to think of the positives and find a positive solution to some of the things that people are going through, because again, you could be very angry all day long easily. Just turn on the news. They'll tell you everything you want to be angry about.
Yes, sir. That's another thing, John. I don't watch the news anymore. That's why you don't see me. Not that they don't ask. They do, the mainstream media and the big media networks. But I don't anymore, because that's what I saw. And I facilitated some of that. So I was even doing my own ARs on myself back in the day. And thinking, am I bringing something positive to the table, or am I just really just getting out there and being angry and sensationalizing things and making this big story to just how angry I am? Or am I making something positive about it, and also remembering Tyrone and Glenn and honoring them? Being angry doesn't honor them. Telling about their life and telling how they gave of themselves, the sacrifice of themselves. John 15:13 is a great verse for that. But how they sacrificed themselves and gave of themselves so others could live. Even though if there's some negative, of course, they lost their lives, But in state, it is positive because that is what sacrificing God wants us to do, is to give for others. And that's what they did. And that's what the speech really goes that direction now, more so than the angry direction that it used to go.
Well, I am super excited. We're planning on being there. It's Friday, March 3rd. It is at a place in Sioux Falls it's hosted by the VFW, Post 628, and Auxiliary, and it's at a place in Sioux Falls called the South Dakota Military Heritage Alliance on Russell. And I'm going to throw a link so you can find it. And on that link, you'll be able to click and buy tickets as well. Chris, thank you. I look forward to seeing you here real soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me again, and God bless you, John. Have a great week and your weekend coming up as well.
Absolutely. Again, Chris Tonto Paronto in Sioux Falls, Friday, March 3rd. All of the details at facebook.com/Sunny Radio and facebook.com/Sioux Falls News.
If your plan for the new year involves getting your financial life in order, I suggest you start with your mobile phone bill. How much do you pay every month? If that number is more than $15, it's time for a Mintervention. Mint Mobile makes it affordable and easy to switch. Get a new phone or bring your current phone. At Mintervention.com, you can see the current special offers from Mint Mobile, offering premium wireless for just $15 a month. That's far less than most people are paying, just $15 a month. Learn more now at Mintervention.com. That's Mintervention.com.
And now stuff Dan finds interesting.
Yeah.
It is time for Stuff Dan Finds Interesting. Dan, what do you find interesting on this Thunder Road Thursday?
Not much more interesting than axe throwing from bumper cars. Tell you what.
I don't think you get to do both at the same time.
Well, you go in the side door, and you pay the kid like $13 and just go, hey, hand me an axe there, sport. I'm back. $25 gift card for Thunder Road. All kinds of things do all year round, man. That place is just
It really is
gas.
awesome.
And this week's card is going to Kyrie Buck.
Nice. Way to go, Kyrie.
Buck. That's a great name. If I were to rename myself, I'd probably use that one.
Well,
What's taken?
So don't do that. Let her keep it.
All right, super cool. I don't know if I want to present this guy as a hero or a zero or a little bit of both. It's kind of an unusual story.
Okay.
Starts in the Twin Cities last week. A guy from Cottage Grove, just a little suburb of Minneapolis, St. Paul there. Drove to New Ulm, turned himself in. Robert Douglas Bauer, he's 42. He was charged with third-degree DWI in Brown County Court. Criminal complaint. It says New Ulm police officer received a call January 28th about 7:30 in the evening from an intoxicated man. It was Bauer, who had driven himself from the Twin Cities for somebody to New Ulm. He told the officer on the phone he'd been drinking the evening. He drank his last drink at 4:30 in the morning. Decided to take a little cruise. Got himself all bent out of shape on vodka Mountain Dews. Oh boy. Tasty.
Yeah.
Before driving to the Brown County Jail, he literally turned himself in saying, look, I feel a little buzzed. I shouldn't be driving.
Wow.
So he drove himself there just to turn himself in for driving himself there.
Well, yeah, New Ulm from Cottage Grove, that's not just a couple blocks either.
That's hilarious.
It's several miles, yeah.
Holy cow.
42 years old, had a blood alcohol content of 0.19 according to court records. Now, I'm only saying this. I'm only bringing this up because it was such a different time, but I came across this story and I had this flashback, and it's like, did that really happen? And so I thought about it more. And it really did happen. It would have been the late 70s. Me and Jeff Sargent, Cliff Swanson, Jeffy Melberg, and Stu the Jew, we were out. And somebody got the wild idea going, we should probably turn ourselves in, man. We're running around. We got a case of beer in the trunk of the car, blah, blah, blah. And so we did. We actually walked into the Crystal's a little suburb of Minneapolis, just west of the cities. We walked into the Crystal Police Department.
What?
And turned ourselves in.
What is going on in Minnesota?
We're standing there. All of us in our late teens, early 20s going, yeah, we've pretty much been gassing it up here for the last 6-7 hours. And whatever officer was running the desk just looked at us and went, yeah, I don't have time for you idiots. Get out of here. And we're like going, what?
Wow.
What? But it was the 70s where, it was Wild West was still in full gear. So, honest to goodness, turned ourselves in. And
wow, and we're turned away.
Yep, we're turned away.
That's hilarious.
I don't know who's dumber on that side of the equation or your side. So.
Yeah, it was more of on a dare deal. Well, if you do it, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it. I know. What's the worst that can happen? You spend the night here. Who cares?
Yeah.
It was. There's a reason I don't belong to Mensa.
There's some sort of cautionary tale in here, kids. I don't know what it is.
That's just one of them. Hey, gosh darn it! Thanks for having me, guys. I don't know what I'd do without you. Probably not this. Have a prosperous, blessed day. I'll catch up with you in the morning.
Sounds good. It is the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Dan Ferris.
Do you ever get credit card offers in the mail? Those are usually the worst offers. They spend thousands of dollars mailing them to anyone with an address. The people who actually read their junk mail end up paying the price in the long run. At bettercreditcards.com, we offer a variety of credit card options to fit your needs. Whether you want a credit card to give you cash back or points and perks, or a credit card to help you build your credit, we probably have it at bettercreditcards.com. Give yourself a little credit. bettercreditcards.com.
Here's your market beat minute for Thursday, February 9th, 2023. Equity markets beat a hasty retreat after rallying strongly on words from Fed Chief Jerome Powell. The takeaway today is that inflation has peaked, but the impacts of the FOMC rate hikes are ongoing. In this light, the slowdown in corporate earnings can be expected to worsen and lead to a prolonged earnings recession, if not an actual recession. An earnings recession is when S&P 500 earnings decline for 2 or more consecutive quarters despite broader economic growth. The remainder of the week could be a test for the market. There's not much in the way of economic data due out, but there are still many earnings reports to sift through. If the remainder of the reporting season is as poor as the first half has been, it's unlikely the S&P 500 will move anywhere but lower. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.